everybody. Gotta find my knife. I've lost it. What did I do with my knife? Well, now Fagin, you don't need to be balking. Anybody there yet? Oh, here it is, right in front of my nose. Hey, Janice. Right in front of my nose. How's Janice today? I've had to dig out the glasses today. The contacts weren't doing it. Hey, Shelly. I couldn't see very good today, so. Hey, Jessie. All right, y'all. It's been a sad week. Hi, Miss Hilda. I contemplated not coming live today. I've lost another friend to COVID this week. And Janice, I hope you're negative. But yeah, I've lost another friend to COVID this week, so I contemplated not coming on. But then I got to thinking, you know, all the negativity that's been out there, maybe today would be something positive. So, we are going to try to put a positive light on today. And I'm going to make some cornbread dressing. Now, I'm making chicken and dressing tonight, but for Thanksgiving, I will make turkey and dressing. Now, I'm going to tell you how I would do it if it were the turkey. Hey, Karen and Patsy. All right, so I've got some celery, and I haven't got it cut up yet. And I've got my chicken made. Let me tell you what I did earlier today. So, if I were making turkey and dressing, I would use the broth out of my turkey to put into my dressing. My turkey always has a lot of broth, and I cook it in a deep pan. And I'm going to try to do a turkey for y'all maybe in a couple of weeks on Saturday evening. So, we'll see. Now, today, when I got up this morning before I went to work, I put some chicken in a crock pot. And I covered it with water really good, and I put some carrots, just big chunks of carrots and onions and celery, and seasoned it up, and with salt, pepper, garlic, a little rosemary. Now, if I were doing this for our Thanksgiving, my mom doesn't like rosemary, so I would leave that out. But for us, I put a little rosemary. I just put all kinds of seasonings in it that I liked, and I let it cook in that crock pot all day. And that made a good, nice broth. Right here, I've got it in this pot, and I've got a lot of broth here. And it's dark because I put all kinds of seasonings in it, and like I said, I put some carrot in it and everything. And I strained all that out, and so now I've got that broth, or stock. I also, if I were cooking a turkey, now I usually cook my turkeys overnight. And I'll take the giblets out of the turkey, which is usually the neck and the liver, and I don't usually use the heart, but the neck and the liver, and I'll put that in a crock pot, and I'll let that simmer all night, and that's some extra stock for me in case I need it and don't have enough out of my turkey for my dressing, because when I make it, I usually cook about a 22-pound turkey, and I make several. Either I make one of those, if I'm taking it to the Carols, I'll make one of those gigantic aluminum panfuls of dressing. For the White family, I usually because we got people that don't want onions and, you know, so on. So I usually make 2 or 3 pans. So usually I make a lot of dressing. Now tonight I'm just gonna make 1 pan. I'm gonna use this pan tonight. It's a 9 by 13. So that's what I'm making tonight. I gotta cut my recipe down a little bit tonight. Hey Hunter, hey Leanne. So tonight I've got my cornbread already baked, and it's right here. And I meant to get, let me get something else so I can kind of tell you, because I really don't know how much cornbread I've got in here. So let me see if this will tell me. And I got my cornbread a little dark, but I don't mind it like that. So you might not want yours so dark. Okay, that is 8 cups, probably about 9 cups of cornbread. So I've got a lot. So I may have more than I really thought. All right, so let's get started. Now I do put celery and onions in mine. And so I've got to get those chopped up. Now normally I'll do this ahead of time, because you know Thanksgiving Day or whenever you're having Thanksgiving, you're probably going to be busy. So maybe a day or 2 ahead I prep and I chop up my celery. And just however big you want it, because, you know, depends on who you're feeding, and, you know, if you want to slip the celery in without them knowing, things like that. So, you know, I'm not cutting it too big, but I'm not cutting it too little either. Now, like I said, if you have picky eaters and you want to just kind of slip it in, then cut it up small, and you can probably slip it in. Okay? Just kind of uniform in size. And let's see, let's just get it cut here. If I'd had time, I would have had this done, but I just didn't really have time. I've got my oven preheated to 350. I need to get a measure so I know how much I put in there for you. Get a measure here. Hey, LaWanda and Josephine and Christy. Sorry if I missed somebody coming on, but I'm not watching the screen really close. All right. So that's almost a cup. I'm gonna cut another stalk. I've done 3 stalks so far. And usually I just cut a bunch up and then put it in and eyeball it. So that's probably what I'll do tonight. All right. That's about 3 stalks. That's wanting to play around with me. And you want to cut extra up because if you make gravy, I like to put it in my gravy. So I usually cut some extra up for my gravy as well. That's a cup. I'm going to cut another one or 2, probably both of these. And that way I'll have enough to go in my gravy. All right. Try to cut this fast so I can hurry along. Now, if you don't get to watch me or I don't get to do the turkey video, let me tell you how I do my turkey. I thaw it up. Sometimes I'll soak it in a brine. Sometimes I don't. But I get some softened butter. And I'm telling you, when I say I load that butter down with salt, I mean I just pour salt into that softened butter. You can use seasoned salt, you can use plain salt, any kind of herbs and seasonings that you like. And I load it into that butter. And after I wash my turkey and clean it up good, I take that softened butter and I rub it all over my turkey. and I rub it. I'll take my hands and I'll go up and underneath the skin of the turkey, and I'll stuff that butter up and under that skin of that turkey, and that just gets all that seasoning and that flavor all in the meat and into it. And sometimes I'll take an onion and carrot and celery and stick it inside the turkey. Hey, Lisa. Thank you. And so sometimes I'll stick it inside the turkey. And then what I do, I have a big roasting pan with a lid. If I don't have that pan, I'll put it in one of those big aluminum pans and cover it. You can cover it over with aluminum foil, good and tight. I'll put it in the oven on about 400 for about an hour. And then I knock it down. I usually knock mine down to about 225. And then I just leave it in there. It's because mine's about a 22-pound turkey. I'll put it in there at night before I go to bed on 400 for an hour. Then I turn it down to 225 and I let it cook all night. Now usually my oven will timer and go off about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's fine. The bird's done by then, and I just let it sit in there and it stays good and warm, and it does well. Now, if you're cooking a smaller bird, you want to adjust your cooking time. So just read on the bird. It'll tell you how long per pound and all that. So that's what I usually do. That's how I cook my turkey. And I'll show you maybe if I get to do a turkey this year. All right, so I've got about 8 or 9 cups of cornbread here. I have got about 2 cups of celery. I won't use all that in there. All right, I've got a medium onion. I'm gonna cut it up. Let's get that one cut up real quick. Now, my mama likes her pieces of onion really big in her dressing. Most time I don't put them too big because some people don't like it. Yeah, some people do use creamy chicken. I don't. I mean, I have in just, not my Thanksgiving dressing, Janice, but it's good. I make mine like my mama did, or does, and my mama. But, yeah, I've had that. That's good, Janice. All right, so let me cut up this onion, and I'm just going to chop it up pretty good. I will, oh, I think I just cut myself. Did I? I don't know. Maybe almost. I don't see any blood. I was going through that onion sideways. Hang on. I think let me grab a glove. And let me wash my knife off. It did nick it. It was on the edge where I don't, the edge I don't use, but, oh well, I did. I cut it just a little bit. Just nicked it a little bit. Let me wash my knife. I got some dishwater over here. All right. There we go. All good. All right. There's some onion. I'm just going to cut the other one up real fast. And I wish I had had this done. Like I said, I usually have all this cut up ahead of time in the refrigerator a couple of days ahead of time. And then when I'm ready, then it's all done. On your cornbread, you can also make that ahead of time. You can make it, like usually what I'll do for a week or so up until Christmas or Thanksgiving, whenever I'm making it, when I make cornbread, if I have any leftovers, I'll pop it in a Ziploc bag. If it's going to be a little while, you can pop it in the freezer. If not going to be too long, just pop it in that Ziploc bag. It'll keep. All right, so there's my onions. Now, let me show you what else I put in here. Okay, so I've got the cornbread, cold biscuits, leftover cold biscuits. Now, I broke this cornbread up a little smaller than we usually do, but I don't usually break my cornbread up very small, just kind of in big chunks. I'm going to break some cold biscuits up in it. Okay? So these are just some leftover cold biscuits. Again, you know, the week or two up before. And I got 3 small ones. Depends on how much you're making. It's not going to take a whole lot of biscuit. So you can also do loaf bread if you don't have any biscuit. Cold biscuit. Okay. Now, a sleeve of crackers. So a few of these are gone out of it, so that's fine. I'm just going to break these up a little bit. I don't need the whole sleeve anyway. So here goes. No, it's not gluten-free, Jennifer. You could do it with just gluten-free cornmeal. And you can make, you know, gluten-free biscuits. You can use that gluten-free Bisquick and do that. And do that, Jennifer. You sure could. So there's some saltine crackers. All right, now I'm just going to take my hand and just roll it a little bit. I'm not going to stir it. I'm rolling it, okay? Yeah, Jennifer, I mean, I've done that before. You can definitely do that. Okay, so now, just roll it around. Now I'm going to start adding some celery, and I'm just going to eyeball it and roll it around and see how much is in it. If it looks like, you know, hey, that's more than I really want, or that's not hardly enough. I put probably about a cup of celery in this, and I think that's going to be plenty. Okay, and now the onions, same thing. Just roll them around and see how many. I think I'm going to go with the whole. It wasn't a real big onion, so it was just about a medium onion. Okay, now one more thing, and a lot of people, my mama always put this in her dressing. My mama always puts this in her dressing. I know a lot of people don't and are kind of shocked when I do this. Boiled eggs. So here we go. I'm just going to chop these up. And however big you want them, I made my cornbread and boiled my eggs on my lunch break, and I walked over to Mama's while they were cooking, and I kind of overcooked both of them. But they're okay. So we're good. They're just cooked a little more than I would normally cook them, but they're fine. And I just kind of make them, and again, the size you cut them just depends on who you're feeding. Some people don't like boiled eggs, but if you cut them big enough, they can pick them out. So, yeah, Jill picks out the boiled eggs. But Jill, you know it wouldn't be Mama's dressing if it didn't have those boiled eggs in it. All right. Okay. So that's about 3, and I think that's enough for right now. And I'm just going to get something to, I'm not going to stir my dressing. I'm going to roll it or fold it. I'm just folding it. Now, I haven't added my sage, but I'm going to tell you about the sage. I like to use rubbed sage. If you can see it, it's kind of a, I don't know, I'm going to try to let you see how it actually looks. It's really rough. It's not ground or powder, it's rubbed. And it has such a good flavor. So, and I like a lot of it. I'm probably going to put at least half the bottle in this batch. I'm going to roll it. Now, I don't like it too sagey because, you know, you don't want to die or anything. But there we go. Now, what I usually do, let me get my broth. over here. I usually just take a ladle and I ladle it in, and I'm gonna taste of it because everything in here is cooked, and I'm gonna just taste of it before I put it in the oven to make sure it's got enough sage for me. It's got everything I want. But let me tell you another secret too. You always want to have some extra broth around in case your turkey doesn't make as much juice as you need. So you might want to buy some broth. Or if you're going to make a ham too, save that ham juice. Put a little bit of that ham juice in there. It really adds a whole lot of flavor to your dressing. So I'm going to start rolling it around and see. And I'm eyeballing all of this to see how wet it is. You know, how does it look? Does it look like it's got enough of everything in it that I want? I don't like my dressing just super wet. I know most people like it really moist, so I try to always add. You want to add more broth than you think it needs, because as it cooks, it will soak that up. But then, you know, normally I've noticed a lot of times mine is perfect when it gets finished. It's perfect. I mean, it's just like I want it. But after it sits for a little while, before dinner gets around, it'll dry up a little bit. So add extra, add a little more than you think it's gonna need. That's good and wet right there. I'm going to grab a little spoon and a little bowl here. And like I said, everything's fully cooked here. Nothing's gonna hurt me. I'm gonna taste it and see. Of course, the onions and the celery aren't cooked, but also, if your broth is salty enough, you won't have to add any salt to your dressing. So you want to make sure that. I like a lot of, and this is a pretty big bowl of dressing. I'm going to add a little more sage here. I'm just going to add it all. I did a whole bottle. I think it may actually be more than will fit in that pan, but we'll see. We might can cram it all in there. I don't know. Usually, when I make the big pan, I use 2 bottles. I usually end up using 2 bottles. But like I said, I'm either making a couple size like this, two like this, and maybe a smaller one, or a great big roasting pan. So I like to spray my pan with some cooking spray, because you know what I like about it? I like for it to get a little crispy edge on it. And that'll help it to get a little crispy edge. So, now, since this is actually chicken and dressing, I deboned my chicken. I'm going to go ahead and add some. Now, if I were doing turkey and dressing, my turkey would still be whole and in the oven. So, I wouldn't be adding turkey to it. Now, what you can also do is cook chicken to have some extra broth. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put a little bit more, because I sat there and soaked it up. I'm going to put a little more of this ham juice in it. I'm telling you, the ham juice really adds a lot of flavor. It really does. So I'm just rolling it. And then I'm going to try one more bite of it before I throw it in the oven. That ham juice And that extra sage just did the trick. So, let's see if we got too much for this pan. And we really probably do. I could throw a little extra in something else. So, I'm going to stick it in the oven. I'm not going to cover it up. If it starts getting more brown than I want, I'll cut a piece of tin foil off and just lay it on top. I'm not going to tighten it down over it. I'll just lay it on top of it. I meant to look up some recipes. I don't really know how long I cook it in this oven, but probably about, honestly, 45 minutes or an hour, because you want your onions and your celery to get done. So that's probably, and I'll throw this in another pan and cook it too. That's probably about how long I'll cook it. So there we go. Now, I could make some gravy, but I'm not gonna eat it. I don't usually put gravy on mine. So I'm not gonna make gravy tonight. I'll make it another night. You've seen me make gravy. What I generally do is I slice up a little bit of onion and I put some butter and olive oil in a pan like this. And I brown that onion, kind of caramelize it just a little bit. I slice it real thin, put it in there and brown it with some butter and olive oil. Then I add some flour to it. I put celery in it as well. And then I put some of my stock, whether it's where I cook my giblets or whatever I have left. I'll put it into the pan. And I'll slice up an egg and put it in there. I tear the meat, if I'm doing turkey dressing, I'll tear the meat off of the neck where I've cooked it all night and put it in there. And I don't put the heart in there. I will slice the liver up. I don't eat that, but it tastes okay. No, I'm not gonna eat the liver. I just don't like liver and I'm not gonna eat it. But the gravy itself tastes pretty good as far as gravy goes. I just like my dressing without gravy. But I always make it because a lot of people like it. My mom makes it with loaf bread. She boils her giblets in a pot with some onion and celery and then puts loaf bread in there. And that loaf bread soaks the juice up and becomes thick like gravy. And that's how my mom makes it. So that is my dressing. I'll post a picture of it when it gets out of the oven. But that's it. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. Just make you some cornbread, cut you up some onions and celery, boil you some eggs if you want eggs in it, and plenty of sage. That's it, guys. So I've got some dressing in the oven, and I wasn't going to tell y'all this, but I have cooked my husband. I've been cooking all day. And the way I've been cooking all day is crock pots. At 6 o'clock this morning, I put everything in crock pot. I made my husband his favorite meal tonight. My oven is on 350 Mercedes. I made him his favorite meal. Y'all are not going to believe what this is. It's pig feet. No, I don't eat them, but he loves them. I threw them in the crock pot this morning, covered them with water, salt, and pepper, and they've been cooking all day, and they're falling apart. But he's gonna love that. That's gonna be good. I have also got some pinto beans over here that I've been cooking. I put them on this morning before work on the stove and got them boiling good. And I just made a little pot because we didn't want to eat them all week. And then I moved them over into this crock pot, and they've been sitting here in this crock pot just cooking all day long. So that's what we're having. Andy Long would be in hog heaven. Yeah, him and Donnie, they kind of eat the same thing, I think. So that's what we got. We got some pinto beans, and we're gonna have this chicken and dressing here in a little bit. It's like I said, it's probably gonna take it about an hour to cook. I bet my daddy's getting hungry. So we'll see. that's it, guys. I got turnip greens too. I cooked them yesterday. Listen, what you can do, a lot of your stuff, like if you're going to cook turnip greens, you can cook them ahead of time and freeze them. Cook them just like you'd eat them and freeze them. Yeah, I don't want any feet either, Sarah. And you can put those turnip greens in the freezer and then pull them out on Thanksgiving morning and heat them up, and there you go. Turnip greens are ready. So, gonna do that. Before Thanksgiving gets here, I'll be doing some more things. Maybe some sweet potatoes, my corn. I wanted to do my cream corn, show you how to do that. And I might even do my homemade rolls. Might show y'all how to do those. Now, honestly, I like the store-bought ones better. Or I say better, just as well. But I make homemade rolls, and I may show you those one day. So that's it, guys. Y'all have a great night. Thank you for joining me. Oh, and let me tell you, thanks to everybody that shared my post. If you don't mind, go ahead and share this one. I am 6 followers away from 1,000. So I'm almost there. And my birthday's still 2 weeks away. So hey, maybe I'll hit it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Be praying for everybody. Please pray for the family of Tom White, who lost his battle with COVID this week. And they're good friends of mine. So be praying for everybody. I know Dr. Hall's still fighting. Randall Webb's still fighting. Liz's dad, Mr. Davis. Let's pray for all these people. Let's just pray for our country and pray for everybody. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. I'm going to get out of here. See y'all later. Bye.